Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It is the most heartbreaking, ground-shaking, but never media show, money-taking, the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in all of YouTube entertainment today, and a super huge Scream fan. What up, Darth? Good to see you here. Today, I had to go live, and I had to talk about a movie that I just saw. I took the little dictator with me, my daughter, to see the latest movie, Scream 7. And I think for the beginning here, I won't give spoilers. And then in order to explain my frustrations and how bad this movie is, if you couldn't guess by my title, I will be getting into that. I will have a banner that will say spoilers when I get into spoilers, but let me just give you the overlay of this atrocious movie. And the funny part about seeing this movie is people said Psycho Killer. They got it a 0 at Rotten Tomatoes. That fucking movie is 20 times better, whether it's predictable or not, than the absolute garbage that is this movie, especially towards the last 10 minutes. But I'm not going to spoil that. I'll get into that in a little bit. Let me just give you a big premise here. So we are back with our main character, Sidney Prescott, and she has a daughter. She's moved from Woodsboro into this new town to try to escape her past when Ghostface and maybe a familiar person from her past decides to come and start the vicious cycle of violence all over again. And now that synopsis is better than anything in this movie. So this movie stars Neve Campbell, Jasmin Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, and I'm not going to say the other people because they're special cameos. I'll get into them when I get into spoilers. And Mckenna Grace, Asa Germann, Celeste O'Connor, Sam Rainey, Mark Casile, Tim Simons, and Joel McHale. And this story is a dual story. All I could say is that I'm glad they cannot take the Scream franchise to space. So am I. Perp, you're nuts. I was out after round 1. This is by far the worst Scream in the saga. And I want to apologize because before I said Scream 6 was bad, I had actually taken Bitchy to see this movie. And this movie made me want to say a formal apology to the people I argued with Scream 6. Because with Scream 6, and I'm going to be doing some drinking because God, to recall this, I've really got to get toasted again. With Scream 6, the kills and everything else and the storyline they were going into, while I may have not enjoyed every bit of it, there was something interesting. Now, people can shit on Marissa Barrero's acting and say she was wooden or whatever else, but I gave a shit about Marissa Barrera and about I always forget her name. But let's just say the cast was decent, and I like Mindy and the other dude. I like the core 4, we'll say. I was at least intrigued to see where the story might go. This movie says, fuck that, throws it out the window. And while we get Sidney back and we get Gail back and there's a good dynamic there, this movie is a fucking mess from about 45 minutes in till right through to the end. And the last 10 minutes of this film is so insulting as a fan of this franchise. I went to see Scream in the 90s with Drew Barrymore. I remember, like, that was the big thing, right? And I guess spoilers, my God, if you haven't seen Scream 1, that's a masterpiece. The big selling point was Drew Barrymore, and the shock was that she gets killed in the first 5 minutes, and that was great. And this movie feels like everything Wes Craven was critiquing about slashers, only Scream has become such a fucking parody of itself. It's doing the exact thing that Wes Craven made these movies to critique about, that reinvigorated this genre. This is infuriating. It's insulting. It's very pretentious. And once again, when I get into spoilers, which you guys probably want to hear my spoiler thoughts, I will say that, yeah, Scream 3 doesn't look that bad. I do agree. No, people will not love this. People will not ever love this. I am sorry. This is the this is the worst reveal in Scream history. And I will get to that shit show. This was mind back. Like, so I took the Little Dictator, my daughter, she loves horror movies like me, big Terrifier fans, and we're looking forward to Terrifier 3. I've taken her to all of these horror movies. She absolutely did not like this movie.
It was so bad.
You could hear her in the background. Right now, she's playing an actually scary thing. She's playing Resident Evil 9. Woo-hoo! Okay, that's enough out of you there, Peanut Gallery. To actually be scared. This movie has no tension. This has no built up. There's one good scene in this movie. 2, the opening had me actually questioning why people were calling this movie terrible. And that isn't a spoiler, it's in the trailer. And also the scene where they're going through the wall, that's also in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. That setup was tense. And now I think Killjoy Jake, and go check out his channel if you haven't seen him, he's got an excellent review. He's not as angry as me, so he could probably articulate better. But it was like he mentioned that there is no buildup, and part of Ghostface's thing is the buildup into the eventual kill. It's the different maze. Like, even in Scream 6, the bodega scene is probably my favorite scene out of that movie. And the way that they build it up and they give you the holy shit moment of Ghostface picking up a shotgun and shooting them. And people were pissed off and said it broke the rules. After seeing Terrifier, I just throw the rules out of a window. I thought it was very clever because it gave us something new. I will get to reveal because it's so mind-numbingly fucking stupid and makes no logical sense at all. And I know people are going to argue and say, yeah, they gave the backstory. No, it doesn't make sense. It's fucking stupid. So first off, the characters. If you remember them, let me know. It was Girl A, Girl B, or the friends of Tatum. And I only remember Tatum because the daughter is actually named after a character I enjoyed in the first movie. And now here's my problem of base level. Scream, even though historically does not have these fleshed out, elevated horror world building characters, right? They do enough within the first 20 to 30 minutes to establish this group. Even Scream 5 and 6, the core 4, you know who they are. And even though they're kind of helped by legacy characters and being offshoots, they had personality and a chemistry. This new trio, I'm going to call them meatbags, have no personality. One is the boyfriend who's good with AI. One is some random girl. I don't even know why she's there. She's just a random token character who's funny. The mean girl, but she's not really mean. Weird kid. Like, they are archetypes. They're not actual characters. They have no personality. Even the fucking Scream 5 with the guy from 13 Reasons Why was the son of the sheriff, and I kind of got why, like, he was dealing with the fact that his mom had dealt with the first Ghostface, and that kind of weighed on him. In Scream 5 and 6, I really underestimated how much work they put into those characters, whether you like them or not. And I know a lot of people don't like the characters, but like looking back on those movies and then looking at this movie, there is nothing here. And it's funny people bring up Scream 3 because Scream 3 actually, with as much goofiness, once again, any of those old movies built this core to where you care. I did not give a fuck about any of them. And as far as the reveal, I'll get to that when I get to it, because, oh my God, the reveal in this was fucking terrible. But yeah, exactly. Very good point. There was no character development. And Kevin Williams has shown me one thing, and I watched another Kevin Williams movies and a couple of his movies without Wes Craven, but I think Wes Craven really reined him in, and together, maybe I feel like Wes fleshed out some things when Kevin made a baseline. But here, it's just scene to scene to scene to scene. You don't get to know anybody. You don't really get to build up the stakes. And while I appreciate it going fast, you get to a middle part that's kind of boring. and then it's just back to killing. Even the killing for me got repetitious, which I never thought I'd say in a Scream movie. It didn't feel like the kills broke up the story and kind of interjected this much needed, like, oh, now we get a kill. It just felt like, oh, okay, Ghostface is coming, he's killing another person. There's no flow to this movie whatsoever. And it's fucking hilarious because people were bagging on Psycho Killer, but I'll be honest with you, and maybe I got the hottest take of the year. I don't think Psycho Killer is a bad movie, especially not after fucking seeing this movie. Like, at least with that one, I was intrigued to know why he was doing what he was doing. Now, I'm not saying it was a masterpiece or even it was a good movie, but I could definitely watch it more than this movie. And now let's talk about the part of this I've taken out, the fan in me. I have seen every one of these movies in the theater since the OG Scream. I was there opening day with my dad. We went to see this film, and I will never forget the feeling of that first kill and not knowing what it was. And even Scream 4, I thought is one of my favorite Screams. And Scream 4 did what this movie tries to do a fuck ton better, because I believe Scream 4 was ahead of its time. It talked about cell phone technology, internet fame, people wanting to validate themselves through the current social media and where we were at the year it was made. And that feels more relevant to this current time period than what the fuck this motive was, because it is so stupid and just so nonsensical that it doesn't pull anything together. And that's the thing. I can deal with some really bad scenes. I did it in Scream 6, right? If the reveal falls apart for you, though, if the hook of the movie doesn't make sense, then this movie is shit, because you could have some pretty bad scenes. And I mean, even in 3, I can forgive it because I do like the reveal of 3. 4, I loved Emma Roberts and her performance in the reveal and how she got everything together. It made sense for the movie. This never comes together for me. And I forget the actress's name, Isabella something, whoever's playing Sidney's daughter. I feel bad for her because she's putting in a good effort. And of course, Neve Campbell is always brilliant as Sidney. Actually, Courteney Cox and Neve Campbell are the best parts of this movie. Like their trauma that they're going through was far more entertaining than anything else. Like when they skip back to these kids, I did not give a fuck. I was not invested whatsoever. It was just like, oh my God, can we get back to the stew thing? And yes, sacrificing your son. Yes, I will definitely get to that. Okay, you're bugging about Psycho Killer was dumb fun. Yes, Psycho Killer was dumb fun. That's what I mean. Like Psycho Killer to me was dumb fun. It kind of felt like the cheese 2000s kind of era of movies where I had fun with this one. This one I had no fun. So I'm just going to, if you want to see this piece of shit movie, spoilers ahead, because to explain where this movie goes off a fucking cliff, I've got to spoil it. And from the sounds of it, some people knew. So the big reveal. So we get a tease that it might be Stu. And this is where I say this movie is pretentious and kind of a bit of a fuck you to people who make fan theories on the internet, which you should want to encourage. Not the people acting like assholes, like taking sides, like the Melissa Barrera thing and what happened there. I feel bad for her, but that was never going to color what I thought about this movie. I base these movies on their own merits. But in this movie, within the universe, the thing they kind of say about, oh, we wouldn't bring Stu back, that would be stupid. Like, that's a direct, like, pointed statement to the fucking people paying tickets to see your fucking shitty movie. And it's like a direct middle finger from the director to you, which I found very tasteless and very obnoxious and a very snooty kind of oh, your fan theories suck. You know, I'm the person making this. You guys don't know what you're talking about. And clearly, I've heard way better fan theories than the fucking shit that this movie it was definitely disrespecting the fans. It was disrespecting the theory they had on what Stu was saying. It was, dude, they could not have made that more directed towards the fans without the director turning the camera on himself and directly saying it. Like, but all that aside, I could go with the AI thing, which was fucking stupid. I could go with everything and forgive a great deal because I'm not going to lie and say this movie's complete shit. The first 30 to 40 minutes of this movie, I was actually saying, okay, this might not be on my top 10, my top Scream movies, but I'll put it comfortably above 6 because that was the one I despised, and definitely above 3. It's doing good. But I believe it is the moment we get to, oh, I don't know when it happened. I want to say it started losing me at about when the daughter gets kidnapped, and I knew the reveal was coming. First off, that whole scene was pretty cool, but just very predictable. But I was like, okay, cool. The daughter had to get captured, whatever else. But we get to the reveal. The reveal is a fucking neighbor I did not give a flying fuck about. And the dude who was clearly in on it, the orderly from the mental hospital. And it was a mental patient that they had used as the first Ghostface, the decoy. So the lady next door, and as I say this, see if it sounds as ridiculous as it is portrayed in the movie. The lady next door read Sidney's book, which is supposed to be our connection, which is fucking flimsy at best, because I don't know this lady. She's never been in any of this series. And I get it. It could be random people, the other people from Scream 5 and 6, they were random. But this is just so mind-numbingly dumb. So she read this book, and the Sidney Prescott book that she wrote, and it gave her the courage, and she was in an abusive relationship. And fine, if she would have stopped there, it would have been fucking stupid, but I could have handled it. But then she continues and goes on to say that she wanted to kill Sidney, make her daughter watch, and create a Sidney 2.0. And it gets fucking stupider because she kills her son, but has no remorse about it. And now here where this is a contradiction of, let's go back to Scream 2. If you look at the motives for Scream 2, it was Billy Loomis's mom, and the mom came back because Sidney had killed her son. Now she was drunk and she left, and Billy Loomis said that stuff in the first movie. But she had conducted the whole thing because she couldn't take responsibility for her own faults. And she was mad her child had died. That was part of her motivation. As a parent, and I'm sorry, I don't give a shit what anybody tells me, but as a parent, I don't see how you could kill your child. And I don't want to hear she's crazy, because that's a fucking cop-out. How you could kill your child so easily you raised and just be casual about it. And yes, I get it. It's supposed to be she snapped, she had a mental break. It doesn't track, especially in particular for women and their paternal instincts towards children. It doesn't track. It makes no sense. And then the random guy who hooked up with her in the site work. Like, I like the actor. I believe he was the actor from Final Destination 1. If not, I've seen him in other movies. You'll know when you see him. He's a pretty decent actor. But it was just like, so then, okay, you're going after Sidney. You want to create a new one. The deep fake AI shit, why? And there's a throwaway line. He worked for Google AI as a net programmer or whatever the fuck. like, it's so dumb. It is so dumb. The last 10 minutes of this movie ruins everything that's come before. And I can forgive a lot. I've seen a lot. Like, Scream 3 up until this point was the roughest one, especially the middle section. Like, I like Roman. I like what the story is conceptually about, and the reveal isn't bad. But the movie in general is not good. And that had a lot of like behind the scenes, the MPAA, and it was a big censoring thing. There were a lot of things that externally that were working against that movie. This movie, I could feel the rewrites. No, some of the best villains that don't have reasons are good villains because they have something about them. Okay, we could go with the Joker, right? The Joker, why does he do what he does? Because, everyone can be crazy with just one bad day, right? But the Joker, in his madness, still always has an objective. These guys are like, the objective, the thing they're going for, does not make any logical sense. And the AI clearly was just a way to get all of the old characters we know and love and I hate to use this word because I feel like everybody uses it as a critique to skate around what they mean, but really nostalgia bait. Like, this is heavy fucking nostalgia. And just because you point out the nostalgia is not meta commentary. Let me give you an example. This movie several times says, oh, we're retconning stuff. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You see, we're meta because we said we're retconning it and then we're doing it. That's not meta commentary. I'll give you an example from Scream 1. Meta commentary is Sid is with Billy Loomis, and she says she doesn't like slasher movies because it's always about blondes with big tits that are running up the stairs when they should be running out the front door. Later, Ghostface goes to chase her. And what does she do? She runs for the front door, but it's locked from the inside. So she's got to run back upstairs. See, it went the opposite of what they were pointing out about the movies, but due to circumstance, she had to make the dumb decision. That is meta commentary, and that's a way to still get your protagonist to the place you want them to be without falling into the very thing that you're mocking. Scream 7 has become the very thing that it was created to point out, to critique on, to say something smart about. Like, look, Scream 5 goes heavy on online trolls and wanting to change things, but I gotta say, I probably like that movie more than most people. I liked it from the beginning. You can check out my rankings. I did a whole thing with Killjoy Jake. We talked about it, and that movie, I really liked it because at the time, whether people wanted to hear it or not, they were commenting on something and pointing out something that was actually happening and actually happening in the fandom. And I'll be damned if the fans didn't do what the movie was critiquing, which to me made it feel more well thought out, well put together, whether you like or hate that movie or not. And I believe the killer Richie or whatever, played by Colin Hanks, or the Huey from The Boys. Anyways, he was very charismatic. The crazy chick, she was okay. She was just kind of the accomplice, a little nutty. I liked her, though. I liked her when she just out of the blue shot the best friend in the face. And it startled me. Those reveals actually got me. Now, with Scream 6, once again, the ending fell apart, but I liked the museum of the different killers. I like that the cop was the one who probably shot the shotgun in the bodega because obviously he was the one doing it. I liked the idea of that was the first time they were introducing 3 killers. So it explained why Ghostface was in so many places, especially in a big city. And I loved the beginning of seeing the killer's point of view first. I thought the end never jived with me. But this, it feels off from the very start. Like the first 5 minutes and the introduction kill are the best part of the movie. I loved the whole stab, like Airbnb idea. Hell, the characters in the beginning were more interesting to me than anybody I got introduced to in the middle of the film. And it's really just sad. Yeah, you could definitely feel where the rewrites were. Perp, I know you're trolling me, man. I know you like to be against the grain, but I'll say this. I'd rather fucking watch The Strangers Chapter 3 than ever watch this movie again. And that is god awful. And I'm not even joking when I say this is probably going to be on my worst movies of the year. I would actually probably put this above The Strangers Chapter 3 because The Strangers Chapter 3 was just fucking shit crazy. Like, they went for it, man. It was all terrible ideas. It was horrible execution, but they tried something like out there and different. The fucking boar attack scene from The Strangers Chapter 2 was more entertaining. This is one of the biggest letdowns I've seen in horror in the past couple of years. And anybody who could put this on a good movies list next to like great films we had, like We Bury the Dead, Send Help, the fucking chimpanzee movie Primate, which was far more entertaining, and the fucking monkey was far more terrifying than anything in this film. You're crazy. I don't understand it. And I've been a fan of this franchise since the beginning. I've literally seen this and Saw are the two longest franchise that I went to the theater. And don't get me wrong, Saw is not a masterpiece, but I've seen every single one of those too. This is one of the franchise, Evil Dead. Like, there's certain things that I put into this category that I've been there in the ground level watching it. And I don't want to shit on Scream. I don't want to be that guy. I hate coming on here and fucking ranting. But, I mean, for me to sit here and say this was a great movie because some kills were good would be a fucking lie, because it's not. This is a fucking awful movie. I mean, just if we're taking Scream out of this and as a horror movie, it's not very good. The people busting their ass in this movie is Neve Campbell and Courteney Cox. And I like Mindy and the other dude. I always forget, but the other two, the only two of the core four left, they're good. I would actually have loved to see a movie with just them, because this was fucking atrocious. This was god awful. This, like, I heard sighs in my theater. There were people who left after the reveal. They were fucking done. There were people who were like, oh, and I was one of them. Like, and that's not just me. I had a theater of like, had to have been like 13, 14, which is pretty decent for in the daytime seeing this, because we saw this at noon. And even some younger kids to the side of me. And I say kids because they could have been in their 20s, but everybody's younger to me. And they said it was stupid. Like, I heard they were like, what? So look, people can have this amount of cope and try to make up excuses, but this is just not, it's not a good Scream movie, and it's not a good horror movie. There's not enough tension to make this really suspenseful, and there's not a lot of good buildup, and the kills that are there are like window dressing. It's sad because the Terrifier movies are built on gory, nasty kills. Yet I feel like Terrifier has more of a story and a baseline and a bit of charisma to it that is completely and totally missing from a Scream movie. And shout out to Matthew Lillard. I've got to say, the Matthew Lillard of it, I found his scenes pretty entertaining. Now, people are going to pick it apart, and I'm not going to be that nitpicky. I got sucked in with the nostalgia too. I liked seeing Matthew Lillard. I thought that for what his role entailed, he did just fine. he has back problems along with Neve Campbell and Courteney Cox for carrying up this fucking movie, because this script is terrible. And I don't know if it's Kevin Williamson and he just had to rewrite and just try to disregard what happened, and that's where it's jittery. I don't know if Spyglass and the people making this just wanted to fucking distance themselves from what this started out with, but this is not good. It's not good at all. It's bad, and I'm gonna give this movie a 4. This is the reason why it gets 4 points is because of the kills and because of the cast. But this was not even an average movie for me. If I have the Scream movies, 7 is not even going to be in my collection. This reminds me of Freddy is Dead. If you're a big Nightmare on Elm Street fan, everybody disregards. Now, some people don't like Dream Warrior or Nightmare 4 is another big one. I'm one of the weirdos who like Nightmare 5, Dream Child. I think it's kind of crazy, a little bizarre. But we all agree there's this one movie in every one of these movies, and it was bound to happen to Scream, and it'll probably happen to other franchises because it's happened to Alien several fucking times, and it's happened to Predator a bunch of times. There's always that movie when the franchise gets to that point, and it's that movie that everybody universally agrees sucks. And this one is for purpose, probably still not here. But this is like the Last Jedi of the Scream universe. And if you guys are Star Wars fans, you know what I mean. And it's not in a way like Rian Johnson did to Star Wars. This is in a way of everything that could go wrong for this movie, I feel contributed to how this movie was shot, what the story was about. And despite great performances from Neve Campbell and from Courteney Cox and the Isabella, I forget her name, who plays Tatum, despite them giving it their all and really trying, I just think this movie, especially the last 10 minutes, really fucking fail hard. And this is the lowest rating I've given to a Scream movie. Even Scream 3, I think I gave a 6. But this is bad to me. Like, this made me mad coming out of the theater. I haven't been mad at a movie where I've had to just get on the mic and rant like this in quite some time, and had all of these things to say. And hopefully I made good comparisons so that you guys kind of get where I'm coming from as far as what I'm relating this to. Like, I remember going to see Scream 6 with Bitchy Unicorn, who is my fiance. She will never fucking see another Scream movie with me again. I love you, honey. She hated the movie, but I still got out of the theater going, I see what she's saying, but I could down the road give this movie a chance. Scream 7, I never want to see again. This is like what Last Jedi was for me. I will never fucking watch that that Star Wars movie. I will never watch the Scream movie again. This will be buried, and I'll look forward to a Scream 8 to rebooting and fucking just forgetting this fucking movie ever happened. It's bad. It's really, really bad. It's the combination of the last 10 minutes and the lack of characters. That's what tanks this movie. I can't for the life of me remember any of the characters' names. And I can't even remember who the Ghostface were. Come to think of it, I don't know any of their names because no one is interesting. This fails as a mystery movie. This fails as a horror movie. It fails as a suspense thriller or whodunit. It spectacularly fails. I've heard people who said that Shudder has better films. Honestly, I'm looking forward to a Shudder film called The Mortuary's Assistant. I've heard bad reviews, but I'm still going to give it a go because I like the game. But after seeing Scream 7, God, it cannot be as bad as this fucking movie. This was rough, folks. I know that a lot of people, there'll be a small section who are going to try to defend this. And look, I want to kind of leave you guys off with this. Like, I like to review movies. It's what I do on my channel. And I do late night talks and things like that. I like talking entertainment. And I would love to be able to be one of these people who are passionate enough to look past some glaring mistakes and just have fun. But unfortunately, with what I do and how I see so many movies and so many good movies that get passed up, like We Bury the Dead and Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, like those are fucking phenomenal and get no fucking buzz. Iron Lung, like I said in my review, that I was not crazy about the first 45 minutes of the movie, but it got an 8 from me because the end and the world really sucked me in. And it's crazy that a movie like Iron Lung can come out with that kind of a budget and following one character. And I fucking understood everything about this character. And I got enough of a sense to when the ending hits, it made me squirm and I felt uncomfortable. And this, I know the characters. I have an attachment to the franchise and I felt fucking nothing. And if you're a diehard fan and you can look past it, and hell, if this is your favorite movie, I fucking envy you. I wish I could be with you. I wanted to come up here and say, guys, people are over angry. They're just bringing in stuff. Calm down and give you more points to how this movie is better than you think. But it's fucking not. It's not. And I'm not going to lie and say that I'm happy with something when I don't fucking like it. And I'm not going to try to appease people and say it's a great movie when it fucking sucked. I can't do that. I want to be with you. Like, I don't want to come and be like, oh, be another reviewer going, this movie is shit. It sucks. I try really hard not to be that guy. Just like I don't like to like something because it's hyped up, because I want to be part of the fucking cool kids. I look at movies analytically, and I've been watching horror movies my whole life. My daughter, one of her favorite movies is John Carpenter's The Thing. And it was it was Return to Silent Hill was, don't worry, I'll be doing a review on that. Return to Silent Hill was atrocious in a different way, and that's because I'm a fan of the game. But I'll be honest with you, my top 10 worst movies of this year is going to be hard to do, because so far Return to Silent Hill, this movie, The Strangers Chapter 3, there was another one that was so bad I'm actually forgetting it. But I'm sure when I make my list, and it's sad too, because I think this is probably going to be my number one for right now. The Strangers Chapter 3 had number one worst movie. Like I go, oh, this is definite. But this movie gets my worst movie of the year and a 4, because honestly, this one hurt deeply. This one felt like nobody gave a shit who wrote this movie. If people could go, oh, no, it wasn't an insult. Like, what do you mean? But when you look at your audience and you kind of mock them for making fan theories in a throwaway line and pretend like we're not stupid, or we're stupid and we're not going to pick up what you're saying, it feels very disrespectful. And then the AI thing, like, I'm glad this movie is against AI. And by all means, you guys, if you've seen my late night talks, I talked about this. I'm not a huge fan of AI. The work it takes away for voice actors in video games, and the way that companies are trying to use it to get rid of people. It's a very slippery slope. And have we not seen Terminator? This is how fucking Skynet was built. Anyways, that's neither this here nor there. But I can get behind that message. But when you just have AI as bad, but your story has nothing new, and it's not challenging the view, then it's just shouting in the air. And that's what this movie does. That's my best analogy. It shouts a bunch of things, but it doesn't try to point them out or give a different perspective. It's just saying things just to say them. These characters are just archetypes, just there. This is everything that Wes Craven talked about in his first Scream movie. The irony fucking blows my mind. This movie is the template for why Wes Craven created Scream in the first place. This movie right here. This is the quote from the Batman. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. This is it in real time. Like, I went out and that was the first fucking quote that I thought of when I got out of this movie. I'm like, holy shit. This movie has become, and on the good news, I can't wait for Scary Movies, the new one, because they're going to have a fucking field day with all of these fucking movies that have come out. Like, I was more excited by the previews that they showed than I was enduring this movie. So, yep, Redux. Yeah, Redux looks good. Bone Temple bombed, but don't believe the rumors. According to what I heard, Sony has greenlit the third movie. So, and that's been reported widely. I think even The Verge had something that Sony is going to do the third movie. Cillian Murphy was already negotiated to be in it, so I think it'll be good. But yeah, man, I did not know I was gonna make 42 minutes of me just fucking ranting and raving, and I would really suggest go checking out Killjoy Jake's review of this movie as well, because a lot of the points he brings up, he articulates a lot better than me just cursing and saying it's a piece of shit. But I don't believe in being eloquent or whatever. I just think that this movie, the last 10 minutes, honestly, like, it's a hard feeling for me to describe. When you're watching a movie and you keep on giving it a pass, like waiting because you're like, okay, you're seeing the flaws, but you're doing the fan thing where you're like, I'm going to let it go because I just want to see where this is going to go. And then you get to what the ending is. And you're like, there's no payoff. There's no Catholicism. There's no relief that some of the mistakes and flaws were just stumbles and trips that they made along the way. Like, look, Scream 6, once again, I want to apologize to that fucking movie. Like, literally, the reveal itself is even interesting. It was just, I didn't like the killers, and they didn't really make sense. The killers were really not that great. But overall, when I actually sit down and I think about it, and I rewatched it before going to see this movie, right? Like, it's not unwatchable. There are a lot of good moments. The scene with the ladder, it was just, dude, them getting stabbed like 15 times and living, like, that shit I could have done without. It was a little bit scared to kill some of the main cast. That was my other big issue. But all in all, actually, it's a pretty washable movie, and I think Marissa Barrera got better in that movie. Whereas this, there's no connection to anyone or anything, and there's no time to build a connection. I feel nothing, and it's doing the thing that we used to do in the 90s and the 2000s of just having teenagers just to be killed. So you don't need to fucking know who they are or build any kind of an attachment, because they're gonna fucking die anyways. The first kill in this movie with this girl, I found interesting. I thought they were gonna do more with her character, and for the life of me, I can't remember her name, but she was the blonde girl, and she actually stuck with me because she had kind of personality to her, and the kill was awesome. But I started thinking it would have been nice to have a scene with them all talking about their likes and dislikes and what they're looking for, and maybe getting our main protagonist or Sidney's daughter to open up and get a more deeper understanding of how she feels about what her mom's doing and why she wants to know these details. Why is it so important to her? None of these fucking questions are answered. None of this is answered. And I can't do just a mindless, like, shut your brain off. And, when Scream has never been about that. The Scream movies have always taken their time to build these things up. Like, another reason why I like Scream 5 was that opening scene was fucking awesome, but it was used to get them to the hospital for us to find out more about their characters and the sisters being estranged and all of that. And it builds a sense of giving a fuck about the new cast. Whereas this one, Kevin Williamson just said, we'll just have these 4 people. Who cares? Because everybody's here for Sidney and Gail and the core 2, and they're not going to care about these other people. And it's totally the wrong way to look at it, because then you feel more impacted. That's why characters like Stu and Billy Loomis and Tatum and Kirby and any of the other ones and I always forget Emma Roberts' character. I just look at her as Emma Roberts because she's kind of crazy in real life. But even like, that's what makes them memorable, is that you've taken the time to build the character and make a template for us to identify with and attach onto. I could even get behind the killer's motives if it made fucking sense. Like, it's kind of crazy to use somebody who is being abused, that used Sidney's book to get the courage to get out of that abusive relationship. That's actually a really good hook. But then it just goes off the fucking rails and she just starts saying wild shit. And so you take a villain who could be sympathetic and just make him seem like a crazy person. Yeah, When Evil Lurks. I love When Evil Lurks. When Evil Lurks was crazy, especially the scene with the child and the dog. And if you've seen the movie, you know. But yeah, I give this movie a 4. I think this is right now in probably one of the worst movies I've seen in 2026 so far. It's right up there with The Strangers Chapter 3. And honestly, The Strangers Chapter 3 might be lower because at least I had fun with how much of a fucking train wreck. Like, that movie knew it was bad. And I feel so bad for Madeline Pesh, man. Dude, she's fucking acting her ass off and she just can't save that movie. I was like, dude, like, I could laugh because I knew it was going to be a fucking train wreck. Like, after 2, I'm like, okay, I'm locked in because this is so terrible. I gotta see where this is going. This hurts because Scream is brilliant, smart writing, and they've taken the sophistication and they've taken the thing and the soul of this movie and what makes a Scream movie, and they've turned it into every other slasher movie, which is a huge disservice to what these movies are even supposed to represent in the first place. It says funny that Kevin Williamson also wrote franchise's 7th film, which returned the final girl after a decade, deals with generational trauma. The killer targets their kid and gets their friend killed. Yeah. Yeah, it was, yes, Liam Neeson's Naked Gun film. Watch that. That's a better time. And if you guys haven't seen, or if you want to hear actual movies I like, Cold Storage is really good. And also I like, and this is going to depend on whether or not you like black humor, just a preference, but go check out Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. I think that humor was spot on. It's got a very black comedy. That's a smart, introspective look on AI and on cell phones and on our disconnection with people. I think those movies are going to be fucking swept under the rug because of bullshit like this. I fucking go see The Goat. That looks more entertaining. Like, Oh my god, this fucking movie, man. I haven't been this pissed off in years. This was bad. Kind of weird. Scream 5, 6, and 7 all overall rely on rehashing decades old work and rehashing it for modern audience, which is funny because that is what shorts do. Yeah. You got very good points. Thank you. I definitely agree. And the sad part is I would say 5 and 6 had a better attempt than this one. But I even said myself I was not a fan of 6, not until this one. I actually apologize for my feelings on 6 because this one makes 6 seem like a fucking Oscar. Like, this was infinitely worse. This felt like an old guy writing about what the kids are all talking about. And they're like, that AI is bad. And those deep fakes, you know, they could destroy people's lives. Like, it's all surface level. There's no nuance. There's nothing to discuss. And that's why it's sad I have to reference other movies, despite I'm talking about Scream, but like, good luck, have fun, don't die. Sam Rockwell is, first off, a fucking national treasure. But that movie and the commentary and the satire behind it is so much more intelligent, and it's so much more smart and kind of cheeky how they set things up. And I'm not gonna lie, I did get Terminator vibes towards the end of the movie, but it was definitely much better done. I mean, trying to determine what was the best of 5, 6, and 7 is like polishing. Well, I gotta be honest with you. If I had to take the choice, I like 5 the most. I know I'm in a small minority. I had very few issues with 5. I do get where you're coming from. There is the nostalgia. There's a lot of things, but I think 5 was where I was more intrigued with everything. Whereas 6 and 7, mainly 7 now, was just like, what the fuck happened, guys? And I agree with you. Scream has lost its sizzle. 1000%. There's no pizzazz left. Rockwell was good in Moon in the way back. Yeah. Sam Rockwell is always good. Very underrated. Here's an amazing question. Which characters cared when Judy, Wes, Liv, Akin, or any of the Scream 7 characters died? Did any character shed a tear in any of the 3 movies? I mean, yeah, that's actually an amazing point. I could definitely tell you are not a big fan. Yeah, and here's the thing that I want to end things off on. First off, thank you. I did not mean for this to go 54. I was just going to go live and just rant a bunch, but thank you guys for your great comments. But I want to leave off by saying, first off, if you like this film, I am fucking so happy for you because you're able to find joy in something I just cannot. And, you know, it's okay to like the things that you like. At the same point, I don't think anybody should be obnoxious about their feelings and their views and their opinions. I notice a lot of things, and one of the big things is there's always this battle, right? Especially because people who are fans of a franchise want to so badly defend the franchise, but also we have a responsibility. When something is bad, the only way you get anything better is, no matter how painful it is, to call out the mistakes, to point them out. Because these directors and stuff, they look at fucking online, they know what's being said. If people don't call out the mistakes and voice their opinions, then you can't get change. And really, from 5 till now, 5 and 6 were the closest to me of trying to embody what Scream is. This one is like a wayward child. this movie completely lost the point. It lost the plot. It lost its way. And I think it's very healthy to have engaging conversation, to explain why you don't like something or to explain why you like something. Like, I'm not going to lie to you and say I wasn't entertained by different scenes, but scenes, kills, cool moments don't make up a movie. A movie these days is 2 hours to an hour and 55 minutes to 2 hours. Okay. Every fucking movie, which, by the way, Hollywood, please stop that shit, because I don't have enough fucking time. I've watched 8 movies a month. And even then, it's hard for me to see all these movies, especially back to back, because of this 2 hour bullshit. Stop it. I can't do it. But anyways, in 2 hours, if you find 5 or 6 things that you're clinging on to as your best scenes, then you have to acknowledge that the movie's not good. And you need to talk about it. And you need for the directors and the writers to understand what they did wrong so they can fix it. Fucking coddling these Hollywood directors and coddling these fucking writers and these pretentious assholes and pretending like they gave us gold when they gave us shit is never going to fix the problem. It is why Star Wars is in the fucking rut that it was in. And I love Andor. And I'm really looking forward to The Mandalorian and Grogu. But we've had a rough couple of years. I'm looking forward to Darth Maul. But I acknowledge we've had some fucking bad shit in there. You know, The Acolyte was trash. Ahsoka was mid at best. Obi-Wan Kenobi was a fucking train wreck. Like, you have to be able to talk about these things and have conversations without being fucking nasty and rude and just, you know, getting it out there. Otherwise, what the fuck is the point in doing this? That's always been my take on this. Yeah, The Strangers Chapter 3 was, I would say The Strangers Chapter 3 is on my worst movies list, but I'm not going to lie to you. I at least had more fun than I did in the last 10 minutes of this fucking movie. Like, The Strangers Chapter 3 was just like I was just like sitting back going, no, this can't get worse. And it fucking did spectacularly. But here's the difference. I went into Scream 7 as a fan wanting to like a movie. I went into Strangers because people like to see me do reviews on here, and people like when I rant, and they like when I watch some of these terrible movies and give my takes. And even with the movie Psycho Killer, like, look, everyone's got their guilty movie. If you guys don't know, here's a super secret. Maybe I'll get some people who've seen this. Maybe you'll laugh. I like the Doom movie with The Rock. Is it a good movie? The Rock and Carl Urban, you guys remember that Doom movie? Like, look, it's a terrible movie. Okay, it is fucking awful. But I love it. Me and my younger brother went to see the movie. And there's something in that movie that's charming to me. And I don't know if it's The Rock when he gets sucked under the door and he's like, I can't die like this. And he gets pulled in. Like, and the 3D, the first person that they tried to do in the movie, it's a bad movie. So, like, I could get behind having something about a bad movie. I like Morbius. I have fucking no shame in that. Look, I like Morbius. It reminds me of a really bad 2000 superhero movie. Might be a little bit of nostalgia in that, okay? But I thought it was fucking. You can't tell me that scene with Matt Smith dancing is not the fucking funniest cinematic shot ever. I love The Happening. The Happening is one of the greatest comedies ever fucking made. It's supposed to be a horror movie, but if you look at it like that, then it's a bad horror movie. But if you look at it as The Happening as one of the greatest comedies M. Night Shyamalan ever did, it's a great fucking movie. So I get the liking certain things. Yes, The Happening is entertaining. Dude, the thing with the hot dogs, dude, great stuff. I enjoyed, dude. Yeah, guilty pleasure. And that's what I'm saying. We all have movies and shows and things that we can like, and you know it's bad. But here's the thing. I am very aware that it's bad. And then there's the objectively bad. Like, for me, The Strangers Chapter 1. That pissed me off and didn't entertain me, unlike the last 2 chapters, because it was almost an insult to the original Strangers, which was a great movie. And it was like taking a carbon copy of that, but doing it far worse. And that felt more insulting. And then chapter 2 happened, and I laughed my ass off. That fucking bore. That'll probably go down in history as one of the worst special effects I've ever seen in a movie. But, you know, this, which Scream 7, hurt me because the movie does, for the first half hour, have potential. There's like so many. I would have taken fucking Stu being alive, or a cult, or any of the 1,000 fucking better theories I heard online than what the fuck we got in here. Like, I don't understand it. I feel like they had a really good golden opportunity. I think you would have had less people being pissed off if you would have just bit the bullet and had fucking Stu return. Logically, wouldn't have made sense. I mean, have you owned one of those old TVs back in the day? Those tube TVs? That shit would have crushed his head. But I love Matthew Lillard. I could have probably forgiven that. Like, but trying to give the fan theory people and the audience almost like a middle finger, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. The whole thing just left a very bad taste in my mouth. I forgive the Strangers Chapter 1 because The Matrix 4 set the standard on rehashing bullshit. I do agree with that too. Terrific horror shows. Penny Dreadful, yes. As a matter of fact, if you look on my channel, I do have reviews. I stopped doing some reviews because I've been trying to get around the editors of YouTube. Even with not being monetized, they still take my videos off because of the clips. Fucking Showtime is terrible. It's a subsidiary. It's a bunch of bullshit. I think Scream 7 would have been better if it would have went the F-13 route and renamed the next trilogy to Ghostface and followed the movies from the perspective of the killer. I say that's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I mean with like good theories like that. Like, yeah, like Friday the 13th, Free Ram, Jason Goes to Hell, Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason X. I love Jason X. That's another guilty pleasure movie. Not very good, but it's damn entertaining. Yeah, I think that what they did in the 6th movie, they should do that for a whole entire movie. I 100% agree. And this is the thing that pisses me off about the movie. There is 150,000 great ideas just in this chat alone, which thank you guys for, interacting with me. Just you guys coming up with ideas has been far better than anything that was in that fucking movie. And that's the thing that hurts the most, because I don't think Kevin Williamson is a bad writer. I could feel too the stress, the rewrites, the trying to figure out like, what am I going to do? Because they essentially abandoned a whole fucking story that's just in the ether. We may never get the resolution to it. And I'm not saying it's the greatest story in the world, but I was actually invested. I was fucking invested. Like Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, like or hate them or whatever problems that were in that movie, I still wanted to know. I mean, even with that thing of Melissa Barrera being related to Billy Loomis and that whole thing, like, it wasn't the greatest storyline, but it was new. It was interesting. They were trying something. And that's what boggles my fucking mind about it. Like, I get the studio wants to distance themselves, but it feels like fucking us over and shortchanging the whole entire community, because you're just like, oh, forget it. Doesn't exist. It's like what fucking Halloween does every 10 years. It's crazy. I think Spaceballs 2 will be better than any of these movies we talked about. I don't know. I think Kevin Williams can't create characters anymore because he doesn't understand the brain rot generation. I would agree with that too. The characters in 7 didn't talk like anyone I've ever come across. Yeah, I agree with that. I couldn't tell you who was supposed to be the adults and the kids. That was another thing too. I could not. That annoyed the shit out of me because I felt like they at least looked, young enough to be in that high school going into college. But then there was that one girl who was kind of super short. So I'm like, is this junior high going into high school? Yeah, that's what I mean, man. I think that we need fresh directors. Fucking get Freddie Alvarez. Dude, the shit he did with Evil Dead, man. That was Evil Dead Rise was probably like, I think that year it was in my top 10 horror movies. Like, get somebody who it understands horror and franchises and properties and get him in here, even if he plays it safe, just to rehab this fucking series. Because right now, I honestly don't think 7's going to do that great. And I might eat my words, but I honestly, after people watch this, I don't think this movie is going to do good at all. That's just my hot take. We'll see if in a couple of weeks I'm right. Scream 7 felt like you could play the game and say last time on screen before every character came back. Yeah. Mike Flanagan. That's Daniel. Great choice. Yeah. Mike Flanagan, dude. Mike Flanagan is so fucking good. He's stuck making Stephen King remakes. And I'll be honest with you, man, I don't mind him being on the Stephen King remakes. Another good movie, The Long Walk, man. That was great. Like, this is the issue with Scream 7. There are so many good horror movies slated this year. And just in general, so many good movies slated. Like, look, Avengers Doomsday, I'm not going to pretend like I'm not going to go see that movie. And anybody who says they're not going to go see that movie, you're fucking lying to me. We're all going to go see that fucking movie, even out of morbid curiosity, just because of who's casted. I guarantee you, even people who are online here hating, they're going to fucking go see that movie. And it's going to do stupid numbers. Spider-Man Brand New Day, I am legitimately looking forward to. DC's got Supergirl. I am a huge fan of James Gunn. I wasn't crazy about Superman, but I am more interested in Supergirl, to be quite honest. And we got the main man. About time they casted Jason Momoa for Lobo. I've been saying the shit for years. You got reports that Keanu Reeves has confirmed they're making a Constantine 2. Like, fuck me. I never thought I'd be alive to see a sequel to Constantine. Hot take, Ryan Johnson, and have him doing R-rated Knives Out. I never liked Knives Out. I think they're terrible whodunit movies. Who knows where DC is going to go now that Paramount won. I say any better than Netflix. And I talked about this in my late night talks. I'm not crazy with Netflix owning it just because of how Netflix is. They don't give a shit about the theater experience. Paramount is at least a movie company. Like, even if it's shortened windows, it's fine. Like, here's the thing. I can't believe I'm getting into this. A movie's bad when you're not even fucking talking about it. So I guess this is a good segue. Here's the thing. I am a fan of the movies. I took my daughter to see the first movie I ever took my daughter to see was Crawl. It was R-rated.
I will never forget that.
How old were you? 14?
14-ish?
14? Yeah. She was 14.
14? I don't know.
She was 14. And I was, tonight's the night you're going to go see your first R-rated movie. And, I want to pick something, none of the spicy stuff, just a good, solid horror. First off, Crawl gets no respect for how good it is as an animal attacks movie. Very fucking decent movie. But secondly, that experience of going and taking my daughter like my father took me when I was a kid, the first movie my dad took me to see was The Blob with Matt Dillon. Good luck. That's a blast from the past. It's like mid-'80s, early 90s, in between there. And Alien 3 I went to see next. And so for me, the theater experience is very important. And it's not just the seeing it on the big screen. any of us can have big screens and the sound bar. You can have stereos in the back. It's, for me, the smell of the theater, the atmosphere, gauging how people felt about a movie as you're coming out. These are things to me that you just can't get from the online stream it to your home kind of a thing. But realistically, theaters have been in trouble even before, and I said this in a late night talks a long time ago, even before the zombie apocalypse, as I like to call it, because you can't say it here on YouTube. Fuck you. Theaters were seeing a decline. I worked for a theater. I worked for a theater in my area. I'm not going to say where because I don't want to give it away, but let's just say I did the stuff with the projections and closing things and stuff like that. And I just love that experience. And I feel like we are running towards destroying that experience that is just irreplaceable. Crocodile movie. Yep. Good times. Adam Green should get a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, Jeepers Creepers film. Yeah, that would be good. My daughter begged me to take her to the Devil's Rejects. Dude, yeah, that I actually saw the Devil's Rejects in the theater. I think I might have actually seen that one with my dad. He actually didn't mind it. He's not a big horror buff. I think he did actually wind up liking that one. That's probably my favorite Rob Zombie movie. He's one I got to talk about on my channel. I might shoot a video on him. A very interesting filmography. But my feelings are I rather go with the devil I know than the other devil that I know. They're both devils I know. It was a terrible analogy. Anyways, I'd rather it be Paramount, to be quite honest, than Netflix, because Netflix has openly stated that they see the future as streaming. They do not give a fuck about the theaters. They can sit here and release other interviews and say, oh no, we're going to give them a chance in the theaters. Bullshit. And I'll tell you why. Because Netflix has been snubbed because they haven't released their movies to theaters, so they don't get nominated, because technically to be nominated, you have to have a theatrical run. And because Netflix had to buy their own theaters to show their movies. And I don't want to go to a fucking Netflix theater just to see a new movie that Warner Bros. Is going to make. Like, I think it would be disastrous. So I am glad that it'll be with a company that at least has fucking studio that shoots movies. I remember people walking out of the theater and tension because they couldn't handle it. Yes, I remember that too. Rough watch with my kid. Crawl is it getting a sequel? That'll be interesting.
What?
Thank you. I might have to actually I'll check into that. That would be very interesting. To tell you the truth, if you had the same actress, I'd be down for a sequel. It was surprisingly good. And here's the thing that's funny about that movie. I had no idea. I was taking her to her first R-rated movie that I thought would be the least bad, She just kind of get her used to the violent movie. Now I've taken her to see Terrifier, and we watched Terrifiers 1 and 2, and I took her to see 3 in the theater. So she's a little trooper now. But
Not to mention I play all of the RE games, so
and she's 18 now, so it's all good. but back in the day, yeah, I would love to see a Darkman, dude. Darkman, what a blast from the past. That was a great Liam Neeson movie. I don't think very many people realize that Darkman is a thing. That was to me, that was almost a prototype. That was a prototype to what he would go and do with Spider-Man, which is kind of crazy to think. Everything he does in that movie is the exact kind of shots and framings and the way he would shoot the original Spider-Man, which is just that always boggled my mind. And the funny part about that is that how many people have actually fucking seen Darkman? And I've seen Darkman 1, 2, and I think the third one, something, the return of the main villain. I forgot his name. It's been years, but yeah, I've seen all of those movies. That's crazy. That really brings me back. Oh my God. Like, um, that was one of those movies that I think at the time, this was when we had like cable boxes. I had the cable box on, I was watching HBO, and this movie Darkman comes on, and I was like, what? Liam Neeson? If you guys don't know, I'm a huge Liam Neeson whore. So I was like, Liam Neeson, this is awesome. And then I'm like, wait, is Liam Neeson doing a superhero movie? And yes, it reminds me a lot of like V for Vendetta, where Liam Neeson is essentially out for vengeance. But it's so like superhero coded and so weird. And the irony of this whole thing is he would then later play Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins. So I feel like there's a whole trajectory you can like kind of connect and seeing that he was always going to be, which is hilarious. So he played a hero and he also played a villain, which is for the superhero genre. So I just found that really good. Yeah, Robert Durant. There we go. I knew I couldn't think of it, and I knew he had a slick name too. Robert Durant. Like, dude, Darkman is one of those movies, and I think by today's standards, people wouldn't necessarily consider it good. But honestly, the choreograph, the different scenes, that helicopter scene where he's holding on to it and the fucking helicopter blows up as he's going through, and you can see the fire. Just tremendous.
Oh my God.
My movie. Yeah, scary movie. Now, there's a movie I think is going to surprise people. And I am, yeah, you said it. See, this is the reason why I think why I think a movie like Scream 7 needed to be more than what it was. Even if people call this mid and it just makes the radar. Like, Zach Cregger is on a roll. Weapons was my favorite movie last year. If you guys haven't seen my list, it was my number one in my top 10 movies for last year. I loved Weapons. Barbarian, I gave it a high rating. I think I gave it a 7.5. It's just, I kind of thought the ending wrapped up a little too clean. There was something about the tail end of the movie but Weapons was so brilliant to me. That movie was, and that's what I mean when I say Scream 7 lacks something for me, because you have these directors like the Philippe brothers or Zach Cregger or Mike Flanagan or any one of these great horror directors that are coming out, or even Markiplier, man. Like, you have these people. So, like, here's the thing. Wow. Thank you guys for staying. This, I guess, is turning into a talk about horror movies now. So I guess we're in it. So fuck it. I'm just going to talk about it. Where's my fucking light? Hold on a second. Oh my God. I feel like I'm in the dark here. Let me see. I feel like, there we go.
Oh my God.
Starting to feel like I was Vengeance. Okay. So, yeah, and if you guys don't know, this might look girly. Just keep this in mind. I have a fiance. Now, I want to say I run the house, but if you're engaged, you know who runs the stuff. Although she does got my stuff up here. I got my little Terrifier up there, and she's got the horses and the Lilo and Stitch. I got my Iron Man over there, my Doom unicorn. And you can see my Batman books and Harry Potter and shit. Anyways, so here's the thing that I wanted to say, because I just lost the whole point of what I was making. The thing with these kinds of movies and these kinds of directors, right? And where I think horror is just in general, you can't just make these surface level movies anymore. You can't, like, the Sierra, remember what I said? Like, I know you're like in the
sorry, that thing is terrifying. Oh my God.
Sorry about that. the young one. So she's playing RE9. Super excited. I actually got RE9 on the PS5, and she just got to a weird part. I don't want her to spoil it for me because I haven't had a chance to play it. But yeah, Zach Krager. So let me read this out loud. Barbarian, up until the reveal, made me think Zach Krager was perfect choice. Yeah, for Resident Evil, way before he even got selected. I felt like I was Neo seeing the Matrix Code. I felt bad because he's leaving 20. You were going to leave like a 20 minutes ago. Full rat. Yeah. No, thank you. Despite what I was saying, I don't like to just leave in a rant. So fuck it. You've already seen the rest of the screen review. Now let's just fucking have fun and we could talk about horror so I can wrap this up. Not fucking pissed off, but and this will all wrap around to what I'm saying about Scream. This is going to be such a long review. People are going to watch the first 20 minutes and probably click off anyways. But here's the thing about horror and the place that it's in. These last probably 3 or 4 years have been some of the best years for horror movies. And I have been just really glad to be a fan and to be a lover of the horror genre. I have a shirt that says horror. People were laughing because I work for a bar. I do security. And they were laughing at the bar about it. But honestly, these last couple of years, they've made me be a lot more picky because there's so many good horror movies. So, yes, Markiplier. Now, with Iron Lung, my lovely fiance and my wonderful daughter were really high on that movie. Now, I did give a very, I think, as good of a critique as I could, because I don't have that attachment to the YouTuber or to the game itself. But I could acknowledge when watching that movie, okay, I feel the passion that is put into making it. And now look, I might not have liked everything that was in the film, but the last act, holy shit, I was on the edge of my seat. And yes, there was a lull, but you can feel when an artist is putting everything that they have into a property that they're making. Even with Scream 5 and 6, for example, there's something there. The way it's being shot, the way people are acting. I get a feeling when I'm watching a movie. And if I could feel that, hell, I went to see the movie Primate, okay? It's a fucking killer chimp, okay? And there's this dude in a chimp suit. Like, that was not CGI. It was a dude in a suit. I think there was some CGI overlay, but it was mostly a guy in a suit. I felt the love and the craftsmanship behind what they were making. And I think what separates a good movie from a great movie, or a good horror movie from a great horror movie, is if you can feel the director's intent and their love, and you can feel them as they're telling you this story, right? Like Weapons, to me, the fucking craft, the underlining humor, the gore, but not for gore's sake, right? The story. Like, some people don't like the end of the movie. I think it's fucking brilliant. I'll be perfectly honest. And the thing I love about that movie is when you're watching it, the movie tells you exactly what the end of it is. I've watched the movie 3 or 4 times, right? And that's when you know a movie is super smart in what they're selling you, because it doesn't forget what it's trying to do. The movie is it's trying to make you think, and if you almost get rewarded for a rewatch. I like things like that, because when creators and directors put in those breadcrumbs when they take the extra time to really just give focus to things, it tells me that they're making it that way so that you as a viewer watching it can have a little bit extra if you really want to look into it. Like, the thing with Weapons is you could just watch that movie and take everything at surface level. Or you can watch it like I did several times to maybe on a healthy level and piece together certain things and see that what the reveal is at the end was always fucking there. The clues were always laid out. It was very actually, like, I felt kind of stupid that I didn't figure out when going back through what the actual thing was, because it was right there in front of me. But that's what makes a good movie, especially for me when I watch stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen The Jester 2. I did see one that is on my watch list. For me, a great horror movie has characters I care about, an idea I'm interested in, and a situation that can be scary even if the movie isn't, and the characters who aren't smart until you need them to be dumb. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't like those kinds of characters. Fear of Clowns 1 and Part 2. See, there's a lot of things I still have to watch. I mean, characters who are smart until you need them to be dumb. Yeah, that's the thing. Especially that's another big nitpick for me in this movie. And especially it's something Scream always avoided doing, was that even in Scream 6, 5, the other ones, I never felt like the character made a decision that was purely made just because the script needed it to be made. Even and I say this, like, honestly, I really did like I loved Scream 5. That might be a hot take. I know I've argued the point with some people, and some people have agreed with me. I don't give a shit. My personal thing. I think out of them, Scream 5 was the best. But the one scene I really love in that movie, because it legitimately surprised me, was when the girl shot that other girl just out of fucking nowhere. Because it's shocking, but to the reveal of what's going on, it makes sense within the universe. And it legitimately, I expected, because, Colin Hanks I expected he was going to be a fucking bad guy, or, you don't get Huey from The Boys. I always call him Huey from The Boys. That's what I know him as. But anyways, you don't get him into a huge movie without him having some kind of role. So I knew he was going to be a killer, but the babysitter or whatever, not only did I really actually like that motive, but I also liked that the reveal, like the way they revealed it. Yes, it was kind of safe. Yeah, it might have been a little bit reminiscing of Scream 1. Yeah, clearly it's designed for people or fans like me, but it was done in a very interesting way. I really enjoyed it. And that's why I think 7 was so fucking bad, in that there was like no like build up to it. There was no like some kind of oomph. Scream 7 hurt me hard in that regard. Sidney and Gil are smart when they get to the asylum. Yep. And then and stop investigating because someone told them everything that they wanted to hear after 7 films. Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. I didn't even think about that. Good horror sequels. Yeah, Phantasm 2, Maniac Cop. Oh man, I haven't seen that. Elm Street 3 is a really good one. Elm Street 3 is probably one of my favorite Nightmare on Elm Streets. That and New Nightmare. I think New Nightmare is one of the most, not just criminally underrated Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but it is the template for what Scream would become. That New Nightmare was like, dude, New Nightmare was years ahead of its time. It's one of those movies that you watch now and it fits in this time period. And here's my suggestion, anyone out there, if you make it this far into the fucking video, definitely check out Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Fucking masterpiece of a film. Wes Craven's New Nightmare is literally what the first Scream movie would be. Wes Craven's New Nightmare was him testing the idea he had for Scream, and he would later go on and make the format of the Scream movies. I heard Craven Estate and Dimensions are coming to terms on bringing us new nose. Okay. Oh, I mixed up the third studios. It's New Line Cinemas. Yeah. There's been a big pissing war over Friday. It's like, if you guys don't know, I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan. Actually, and I know it's sacrilege. I get shit from the Halloween community all the time, but I'll be real with you. I actually prefer Friday the 13th over Halloween. I know it's like, oh my God, but honestly, especially in that time period, you were a Halloween stan or a Friday guy. And I know John Carpenter's one of my favorite directors, but if I'm being honest with you, his Apocalypse trilogy is probably better than, at least to me, than Halloween. And I know I'm probably going to get some shit. Like, look, Halloween's a classic. Jamie Lee Curtis is great. Donald Pleasance was a fucking treasure. The movie's quotable. It's a legendary film. But I like Friday the 13th better. You have John Carpenter, who did a really brilliant slasher that made people kind of build up the mythology of Michael Myers. But I love Friday the 13th because it's not actually Jason when you watch the movie. It's his mother. And like, think back in the day. I was not born in the years that the original Friday the 13th were made. But when I first ever watched the movie, I never knew what the twist was. Imagine going to the theater and that was the first like real twist where it was not only a woman killing the people, but it was the mother of the kid that they murdered, which they really didn't drown him. Hence every other fucking Friday the 13th movie ever made. I think that Friday the 13th never gets credit for the way that it did something that all of these other movies, there's tons of horror movies that do that trope now. But Friday the 13th was the first movie to do something like that, which I find just amazing, especially considering the time period it was made for. Oh, yeah. Waxwork was good. Waxwork was a great movie. There's People Under the Stairs. There's, man, one day I should just have a horror talk. But anyways, thank you to you guys for watching. This has been just a really long-winded review on Scream 7. It got a 4. Not happy with it. Did not like it. Watch any of the other movies we just talked about. Literally. If you want suggestions, go see Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, or Cold Storage. That's some great fun. And there's some other good movies coming out this week. Just don't waste your money, is my personal opinion. Inevitably, this will be streaming on fucking Paramount Plus, because I believe that's where all the Screams go. So it'll be streaming on Paramount Plus. Watch it there. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. But thank you, everybody. Thank you guys in the chat. I really had a great time. And if you guys like the video, do the hype thing, the likes, all that jazz, so YouTube doesn't fucking bury my videos. And thank you. I won't be doing late night talks tonight, but I will be doing one next Friday. So you'll see my other half of the late night crew, Mr. Pop Culture PB, as we talk about news and entertainment, and we satire the real world, because that's the fucking scariest thing of all. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the fandom zone: kneel before General Zod.